evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. Residents made their way to the Baggage Building at Marina Park earlier today for Eco Art Day, an afternoon of collaborative art making on themes of climate justice, sustainability, and working together for a greener future. The event, which is part of Ontario Culture Days, offered a variety of artist-led eco-art activities for all ages, including budding making, climate action poster creating, and a collaborative art piece. Organized by Eco Superior, Mindful Makers, CCFTB, the City of Thunder Bay, and Creation Collective, the event's purpose was to get the community to look at its relationship with waste, how it can upcycle waste, and how waste plays into climate change. Sustainability Coordinator Summer Stevenson says collaboration on eco-focused events are important.
When we think about climate change, we have to move forward together and do things differently and really collaborate because we have to problem solve. And I think that this is a really good opportunity to bring people together that maybe aren't necessarily always together to start thinking about what the future might look like here in Thunder Bay.
There's something about art making that is therapeutic, and it also helps open people's minds and allows them to reflect on things in a way that can be very healing. And I do find that with the climate crisis right now, there is a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fear, and through art making we can really address that.
The collaborative art piece will soon be put on display in the community. Local MPP Kevin Holland often makes it a point to mention that he's brought dozens of cabinet ministers from the Ford government to Thunder Bay. The NDP's Lise Vaugeois has taken notice of that. Holland said it again this past week when Labour Minister David Piccini was in the city.
I'm happy to be joined here today by Minister Piccini for today's announcement. Minister Piccini represents the 47th minister's visit to Thunder Bay, and I believe his second or third himself personally. And I highlight that because I think it's really important to recognize, I think it really highlights our government's commitment to Northwestern Ontario in particular. So, and how important we value the North. So I think it's really important to recognize that. And of course, with those visits comes a lot of investment. So that's always great to see.
Holland was the first progressive conservative elected in the Thunder Bay area in over 35 years. And he feels his position with the PC caucus has helped him bring a lot of government funding here. Bourgeois says she welcomes any cabinet minister who announces money to this area, but she says she'd like to see more meetings arranged with area First Nation leaders when those ministers come up to Thunder Bay.
It's certainly an impressive number of visits. Sometimes I'd appreciate an invitation to some of the events. Yeah, they're clearly very interested in the North. And we know they're very interested in accessing mines in the North. So I always, try to keep that in balance because we know that First Nations communities need to be consulted. And that hasn't been happening in all cases. So always my concern is that regardless of the number of visits here, that has to be front and center.
Communities in the Rainy River District receive a total of $1.5 million this week from the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund. The investments are meant to improve infrastructure, boost Indigenous culture, and create jobs. Area MPP and Northern Development Minister Greg Rickford made the announcement on Thursday. Big Grassy First Nation is getting $660,000 to upgrade their community center with new roofing and windows, while the community school is getting new playground structures. Big Island First Nation is receiving $375,000 to update their powwow grounds with a new lighting system and seating for 600 people. Another $500,000 will be put into Titan manufacturing facilities in Devlin. The investment will expand the company's production capacity and nearly double their current number of full-time employees. A medical clinic in Sault Ste. Marie is bringing attention to Breast Cancer Awareness Month and to a change in the provincial screening policy. Starting next Monday, those changes will benefit breast implants when it comes to getting mammograms. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
1 in 8 women in Canada will be affected.
Breast cancer is the second most common cancer in the country. Until now, people with breast implants needed a doctor's referral to receive a mammogram in the province. But the Ontario Breast Cancer Screening Program is going to now be allowing those individuals who are between 50 and 74 to get a breast cancer screening after just a self-diagnosis.
There are extra views needed, takes a little bit longer time to do these screenings. I'm not sure if maybe there was some thought that it wouldn't be as effective. However, it is now known that it is. Without doing these screens, we could be missing cancers.
The Group Health Centre in the Sioux performs 6,000 mammograms per year, and staff are hoping to start a community discussion to increase that number.
Everyone has an expectation or they have an assumption already of how a procedure might be, but until they go and do it, they won't know for themselves. So having that family friend or even just another person to communicate with them, I think it's really important because they can shed light on, oh, the procedure wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Oh, it wasn't as painful.
The compressions are seconds long. The exam from start to finish is on average 5 minutes. And just those 5 minutes and those, I'm not going to say there's no discomfort with the compressions. There certainly is. It's very fast and it's worth it.
The Ontario Breast Cancer Screening Program recommends that people between ages 50 and 74 go in for a mammogram every 2 years. For those that are deemed high risk, who have a history of breast cancer in the family, experts say book a screening yearly. And they say for those who are worried about breast cancer but are under 50, consult a physician about a referral. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Lakehead Public Schools hosted a Harmony Movement leadership conference this week, which saw over 120 students from around the region participate in training programs that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion.
These students are going to be determining an area of focus, an area of need that they recognize has to be worked on in our schools, in their schools, and they're going to champion that work back home.
The training programs are designed to form new leadership roles for students in their school communities, which promote inclusive environments. Some of the participants are student trustees on their boards and say they're very excited to bring what they have learned back to their schools and their hometowns.
As student trustees, we talk to the whole school board, so it's nice to have new perspectives and learning that I can bring back and hopefully share in a good way.
Reflecting on what's working well in our school community, responding to it in the sense, what can we change, and just work at it.
This is the first time a Harmony Movement leadership event was held in the Northwest. While giving birth to twins is fairly common for humans, but for a horse, it's a rare event. A North Bay horse owner celebrated the birth of twin foals for her 10-year-old mare. Eric Tashner has more.
On a quaint countryside farm, a miracle happened.
It was a shock. Probably still is.
The shocking event involves Co-Star, a 10-year-old quarter mare, when she gave birth to twin foals, Harley and Jetta, in May in Powassan. They are nicknamed the Miracle Twins.
It was a long first week. We definitely didn't think they were all going to make it.
Owner Nikki Goulet had no idea her trusted companion would give birth to twins. When she did, Goulet was shocked.
We had her checked twice and only one foal was seen. If they do see a second foal, they usually terminate.
The first evidence of a second foal was during birth. One of Jetta's legs got tangled with Harley's, indicating something wasn't quite right.
She carried pretty much to term, so 328 days.
The surprise birth left Goulet in a bit of a financial pickle because she wanted to keep all three horses together. She contacted Paige Lockton in Callender about leasing some space on her parents' family farm. They opened the shed and grassland to them.
Twin foals making it both to surviving the birth is just next to 1 in a million.
Lockton's father, who's a veterinarian, is convinced Co-Star conceived twice on separate occasions, days apart, since Jetta's legs weren't as developed as Harley's during birth.
We had to build a maternity stall and knock the back wall out of this shed so that they could live together as a herd.
And the twin horses are being shown off for the very first time as part of the Great Powassan Pumpkin Tour.
Oh, that's lovely.
Jetta and Harley proving miracles do happen every day. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Calendar.
From a miracle to a celebration, Fort William Gardens was buzzing with activity earlier today as Lakehead University Athletics, along with LU alumni, held a pregame street party to kick off the start of the Thunderwolves hockey season. The event is part of the LU's homecoming weekend, which welcomes alumni, family, and friends back for various reunion events. Live music, games, food, and merch were all on site as a way to connect with the community and alumni and to celebrate the start of the hockey season. LU's athletic director Tom Warden says it's important to host events that bring the community together while also celebrating local teams.
I think as a university and certainly as an athletic department, we really appreciate everybody in this community that comes to our games or supports us corporately or buys season tickets or whatever. So it's kind of a way of giving back. You see kids here and they're playing cornhole and running around and dancing and stuff like that. So it's kind of a cool way of us just saying thank you and enjoy the game kind of thing. And this is a little extra.